You all must have watched Michael Jackson's memorial service. But did you notice that everyone at the memorial was happy? It was hard to miss. So, what was the reason for this happiness? Why were they laughing? What messages were given to us during the memorial? In this video, we will present our detailed analysis of the memorial service. Sit back and see the reason behind the happiness at this ceremony and the messages that were conveyed to us. First, let's take a look at how the news of his death was announced. It was June 25th when we received the news of Michael's passing. We were all sad, but there were some who weren't. Why was Michael's spokesman, Brian Oxman, trying not to laugh when announcing Michael's death on June 25th?
Hello, Harry. How are you? It is a very sad day for me here. I am heartbroken.
What was it like to be?
And arrived, and we couldn't even talk. We just hugged, we stood there, we cried, and I am heartbroken. I have warned that one day Michael Jackson would wake up dead and that I would not be silent.
Just 2 days after Michael Jackson's passing, his mother was seen shopping at Target for camping supplies, including a sleeping bag. Could a mother be in such good spirits just 2 days after her son's death that she would go out shopping? And who was Catherine planning a camping trip with just 2 days after Michael's death? 2 days after Michael's death, his brothers Randy and Marlon Jackson drove to Michael's house. Their happiness was clearly visible, even though only 2 days had passed since Jackson's death. Also, besides Randy and Marlon, there was another person in the car. Who was the masked man in the back seat of Randy's car? Now let's move on to the memorial service. Michael Jackson's son, Prince Jackson, was 12 years old during Michael Jackson's memorial service on July 7th, 2009. At an age where a child would be deeply saddened by the loss of a parent, and in a highly emotional setting. Despite this, Prince appeared relaxed and happy rather than crying. We even saw him popping gum at his father's memorial. Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson, was constantly fiddling with her ear at the memorial, and this behavior prompted her Aunt Janet to caution her. Upon closer inspection, it was revealed that Paris had a hidden earpiece in her ear, which she frequently checked during her speech. Why did she need the earpiece? Was she using it to listen to music at her father's memorial? Or was it to receive instructions on what to say during the memorial? When it was Paris's turn to speak, the fact that she touched her ear during her speech indicates that she was expecting to hear something. It was also rumored that Michael's children had taken acting lessons just 2 months before the memorial service. But since there is no evidence to prove this, it remains just a rumor. Why didn't Michael's children look sad in such an emotional environment? Surely, you don't believe that 12-year-olds were thinking about inheritance? For a 12-year-old child, parents are everything. And for a 12-year-old child, the importance of a father is immense, especially if that father was as involved as Michael was. They were very attached to their father. Not being sad at such a ceremony was very unusual. Michael Jackson's father, Joe Jackson, was clearly happy during the funeral and memorial services. In fact, His laughter seemed to take the ceremony to another level. Why was Michael's sister, Rebbe, smiling as she entered the memorial service? Why was Latoya happy during the memorial? It wasn't just Michael's family who were happy at the funeral and memorial services. Michael's friends also shared in this happiness. Everyone seemed so happy at the funeral that they struggled to hold back their laughter. For example, you can see Macaulay Culkin looking very happy here. Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson met when Culkin was about 9 years old, shortly after the release of the Home Alone movie. Culkin visited Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch many times, where they would enjoy various activities, such as riding amusement park rides, playing video games, and spending time at the ranch's zoo. Culkin even appeared in Michael Jackson's 1991 Black or White music video. He also defended Jackson during the 2005 trial, stating that Jackson had never behaved inappropriately toward him. Throughout the years, Culkin continually defended Jackson, describing him as a kind and caring person. In various interviews, Culkin referred to Jackson as a close friend who left a positive impact on his life. In other words, Culkin and Michael were very close friends. They loved each other like brothers. So why am I telling you all these details? If a friend that close to you had passed away, could you laugh in their funeral? In this photo, you also see Elizabeth Taylor. The friendship between Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor was also very special and deep. Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor met in the early 1980s. Taylor was a huge fan of Jackson's Thriller album, and they quickly became close friends. Elizabeth Taylor became a great supporter and protective figure in Michael Jackson's life. She strongly defended Jackson in public during his trials and was a steadfast supporter. In other words, there was a close friendship between Ms. Taylor and Jackson. Yet, Taylor didn't appear to show any sadness at the funeral. So, why were these people trying to hold back their laughter? What was so funny? Perhaps the fact that the ceremony was held in a studio made the situation even more comical. Some locations offer visitors historical and cultural experiences that make them feel like they are traveling through time. For example, the Panometer Leipzig in Germany hosts massive panoramic scenes created by Yadigar Assisi. In Turkey, there is the Panorama 1453 History Museum in Istanbul. In Europe, such fake environments were particularly popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During this period, panorama and diorama exhibitions were presented to the public in temporary or permanent structures in major cities. Today, similar museums and exhibitions can still be found, especially in countries like France, Germany, England, and the Netherlands. These structures offer a 360-degree view, allowing viewers to experience the reenactment of historical or cultural events. Have you ever examined the environment where Michael Jackson's funeral was held? Many people argue that the background was fake. So, if this is true, why would Michael Jackson's funeral be staged in a fake environment, like a panorama or diorama? A figure as globally recognized as Michael Jackson would draw enormous media attention and public participation at his funeral. If a fake death was planned, staging the funeral in a fake environment could divert media and public attention elsewhere, helping to conceal the real events. Such an arrangement could make the fake death scenario more convincing. If a fake funeral was held in a controlled and closed environment. All the details could be arranged exactly as the planners wanted. For instance, what the attendees, media members, and even family members would see, where they would look, and how they would react could be pre-planned. This would help prevent possible mistakes or unwanted leaks. If the funeral was staged in a fake environment as part of a fake death, it could have been to lay the groundwork for a potential comeback in the future. Michael Jackson's return after faking his death could create a massive sensation and further solidify his legendary status. Perhaps the biggest reason for holding the funeral in a studio environment was Jackson's desire to design his fake death like a grand movie. After all, the funeral was decorated with images from the Liberian Girl music video, in which Jackson smiles from behind the camera. So, Michael might have wanted to show his fans that he is still alive, that he is directing a big movie, and that he is the director. Michael Jackson's brother, Jermaine Jackson, sang the song Smile at the memorial. But he sang one part of the song differently from the original. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. These are the original lyrics of the song, but Jermaine changed the lyrics to light up your face with sadness, hide every trace of gladness.
Light up your face with sadness, hide every trace of gladness.
What joy was Michael's family hiding on their faces at the memorial? Jermaine's messages to us don't stop there. If you watch the video I'm showing now, you'll see that he gave many more messages. Michael Jackson's life and death are still shrouded in mystery. The memorial service and his family's strange behavior leave our questions unanswered. Will the truth ever come out, or will this mystery remain unsolved forever? One thing is certain, Michael Jackson's legend will never be forgotten until the end of the world.